Welcome to Two Hypnotherapists Talking with me, Denise Mejia, in Delaware, USA.
And me, Martin Ferber, in Preston, UK.
This weekly podcast is for anyone and everyone who'd like to know more about the fascinating subject of hypnosis and the benefits it offers.
I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist.
I'm a retired medical doctor turned consulting hypnotist.
We are Two Hypnotherapists Talking.
So let's get on with the episode.
Okay, cool.
And here we go. Welcome to Two Hypnotherapists Talking with me, Martin Ferber, and Denise Mejia, and this week's very special guest, Angela Farlam, all the way from Australia.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So, Angela, tell us where you are in Australia.
I'm on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, which it's not been very sunny for weeks. We've had really unusual weather and it's been torrential rain, but it's normally sunny.
So we're truly international today. I'm in the UK. Denise is over there in Delaware. The sun is just rising. Is it just setting where you are, Ange?
It's set.
Has it already set?
Yeah.
So tell us, Ange, you've been in Australia, what, 17 years?
17 years.
17 years, wow. And you've been hypnotising all that time?
Yes, yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. So, okay, quick on the spot question here then. Are your clients mainly expats? Because I know there's a huge expat community over there, or is it Australians or both?
Okay, so I spend 2 days a week working on a self-employed basis at a retreat here that specialises in addiction. Oh. So they provide the clients, which are mainly Australian, but from all around Australia. And they come for, there's a lot of stress, anxiety, depression, drugs, you know, everything really.
Yeah, all the problems that brought them to addiction in the first place.
That's right. That's right. So I'm really fortunate. I've been involved with them since 2008, on and off. So it's a really good place to you know, deepen my skill and experience. So that's what I do there. And then with my personal clients all over, really, not really the expat community at all, just people. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You're saying I didn't realize it was specializing in addictions, that clinic. Do you have a high percentage of Aboriginal clients? Because I know I've seen a few documentaries where they're quite susceptible to alcoholism, aren't they? They have high rates of it.
Alcohol and drugs, but actually no, we get people from all walks of life. You know, it's quite surprising. You know, we airline pilots and surgeons, and it's youngsters like teenagers, anybody. And the biggest drug is I don't know if you call it, you know, the meth, ice.
Meth.
No, call it, yeah.
That methamphetamine.
Yeah, it's a worldwide problem.
It is a big problem. But yes, so that's part of it. Lots of abuse, lots of story.
Yeah, this is just from my personal interest, not necessarily the people listening, but here opioids were a really big problem because they were pushed by the drug companies. Was that a big issue too? Are you still dealing with the aftermath?
Still over here as well with the opioids. Yeah.
So what do you do when you're not seeing people at that clinic? You have your own private one, or just?
I spent a year in England in 2018, and then came back to Australia. And since I came back to Australia, I actually had a clinic in Whitby while I was there. But then I came back to Australia. I've not actually had a clinic. I'm glad I didn't have a clinic with COVID coming. But I just work from the apartment I'm in. But because I've been here for such a long time, it tends to be people. I'll explain to them, like, I work online, but if it's people who know me, who've been, then they can.
So let's get back a little bit. What brought you to hypnosis? I'm most fascinated by how people found it. I was furious when I found it because I should have been trained in medical school with this. And I didn't learn about it until after I was retired. So I'm now unretired. So what took you, what experience brought you to study hypnosis in the first place?
I did get hypnotized when I was 17 by, I don't know if you know, if I remember, he's died now. Martin St. James it was actually Australian, but he hypnotized me at Batley Variety Club in Yorkshire, and it was amazing. I'm obviously highly suggestible because I was like straight off. But then it was many years later, when it was my best friend who said she was going to do a course in hypnosis, and I nearly fell off my chair because it was just not expected. I was the therapist, not her. And her hubby, I was saying earlier, her hubby was in a band in the 70s, and they were doing working at a venue in Jersey, and this hypnotist had been at the venue and hypnotized my friend, all the girlfriends in the band, to stop smoking. And although none of them thought they'd been hypnotized, none of them smoked, at least for a while. And so she was always interested. So then many years later, after Dudley had died and she'd been looking to fill that void, looking for something different to do, I'd found this course, and we ended up doing the course together. So, and that I've never looked back since then. And that was back in 2004. So, and that was the start of my journey.
How long a course was it? What was the venue? Was it just
it was the course was actually at the university in Leeds, but it was the LCC, London College of Clinical Hypnotherapy, was the actual, and it's a year-long course. But yeah, well, that was just the start of my journey there. That was then I not long into that, went to London and trained with Paul McKenna and Richard Bandler, and was introduced to NLP, which goes really well with the hypnosis, and went on to be a trainer of NLP as well. So I incorporate a lot of NLP in my work.
Yeah, we were talking recently, Denise and I, about the connection with NLP and hypnosis. And NLP is, we say, it is a form of hypnosis repackaged, as it were. Yeah, I mean, well, you practice both. You've got qualifications in both. What do you feel the similarities are in techniques?
So with the NLP, it's the reason it got connected with hypnosis was because it's really, NLP was all about modeling excellence. And so the guys at the beginning of the journey in the 70s, Richard Bandler and John Grinder, who I trained with in Australia, were studying excellence, people who were really good at what they were doing to replicate it. And they happened to study a famous hypnotist at the time, which was Milton Erickson. And Milton Erickson himself didn't even understand how he was getting these results, but they were modeling him. And this is where the language, the Milton language came out, the vague language that we use in hypnosis to guide people into trance. And then the meta model is it's the teasing out through listening to what people are saying, so you can get that structure of how they're thinking. So it really helps with the journey and guiding somebody into trance as well. And understanding what they're doing on the inside when they're not.
Yeah, I was thinking particularly of some NLP techniques, sort of like the rewind or the swoosh method and that kind of thing.
All of that, yeah.
Because even in solution-focused hypnotherapy, we use some NLP techniques. There's little techniques borrowed from everywhere. And again, we were just talking about the other day, weren't we, Denise, about repackaging things. Solution-focused hypnotherapy, which I practice, is more or less the same as the part of your business where you do coaching. It's a similar kind of thing. It's all about keeping your eye on the desired result and helping the client use their own resources to get there.
Yeah. Right. And that's how I work. It's like, this is where you are. What do you want? So it's like desired state. Whereas, we can in NLP do regression, go back in time to collect insights and lessons and learnings, and it's like, but it's really solution focused. It's like
you can go back there to find out what it was you need to know. You don't need to spend a lot of time there. That's the point, is where are you now and where are you going in the future? Because none of us really can go back. We can go take a peek and come back again.
That's right. That's it.
So when you got to Australia, did you have to retrain in order to be qualified there, or were there any other things that you needed to do?
So when I still continued. I never stopped learning. So I came 2006. We arrived in July, and I'd already been in touch with James Zicalis, and he invited me as a guest to do his prac and master prac in NLP, which he did over a year. It was, but it was in Melbourne. It's a different state. 2.5 hour flight. So I was going over every 2 or 3 weeks to Melbourne and back to do his course, which was fantastic. And
this is pre everybody living on Zoom, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then another amazing trainer, Alistair Horsecross, was actually English, worked and taught hypnosis and NLP here on the coast. So I did his course and did a diploma in his course here so that was 2007. And then 2008 was when I went on to do my training in NLP in Sydney with Inspirative with John Grinder, which was, so I got to train with both ends of NLP, but it was all including hypnosis as well. You know, it was all of the, so, I just keep on learning.
Yeah, so there aren't many people who can, there aren't many people who can say that they train with both Bandler and Grinder in person.
I know. I feel really privileged to have had that opportunity to, and they don't get. I just found it. What I found really weird back then was, you know, it's all, you know, what we know about how the mind works and everything, and yet these people can't stand each other and have a court case against each other, and it's like it just doesn't seem, you know, seems a bit stupid, but yeah.
Well, most arguments are. So where do you find most of your clients, other than the ones that are fed to you from the clinic? Where do you do a lot of advertising? Is it all word of mouth now?
It's been word of mouth, but I'm just on a new drive to. This is like, okay, where do I start? I want to, or we intend to move to Thailand. I don't know if I've said this, Martin.
No.
Yeah. So.
Martin, I see a lot of traveling in your future.
So my son lives in Thailand, in Bangkok. My son's been there 16 years. And before COVID, we had this plan.
I'm sorry, you moved to Australia, your son moves to Thailand. Was he in Australia, or he went from Britain to Thailand?
He was traveling. He came to see us, and he was traveling, and he is a writer, and he was. That's another story how he ended up in Thailand, but he's been there ever since. So he got offered a job through his work. That's an interesting story on its own, but so he's really happy there. So the plan is to move there. So we were planning, and then COVID came along, and now we've got 2 elderly poodles that would not survive the journey. So we don't want anything to happen to them, but we won't be moving to Thailand until something does, which is awful, really. But you know, it'll be 5 years, whatever. So in the meantime, I'm like, okay, I really want to build up my online presence, because most of my clients that know me from here, they are getting better at going online, but because they know me in person, tend to want to come in person. And I want to build up my business online. So I'm actually doing another
course.
But I'm actually loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. And Sheila, I think Sheila Granger did this course or something similar. And so it's with Jason Lynette. So business influence. So it's really helping you to. So I don't know if have you done anything with him?
There's this book. No, but somebody else.
Work Smart Hypnosis. It might be.
Work Smart Business.
And this is your fellow Aussie. So we're all addicted to learning about what everybody else is up to.
You just start on this path and it just goes on and on and on. But I'm absolutely loving it. I'm really enjoying it. And this is really about the business side of it, not the. You know, so and it's nice just sort of really embracing myself in that at the moment too. And also because of the coaching side of it, like at the moment, I've got 4 clients on 5-month coaching packages, which is what I want to get more of, rather than the
Right.
I never do a one-off session, to be honest. It's usually 3 or 5 session packages. I've done that forever, but I want the longer, and including the the direction, the goals. What is it you want?
So your coaching packages, are they whatever the client wants to talk about, or do you gear towards business success or sports success, or those?
Okay, so the ones I've got is it's just what they want. But with doing the course with Jason now, it's getting really clear on your offer and your story. So, and you can have different offers and stories. You don't have to just have one. So that because of the retreat, and I've specialized in anxiety forever, that's the fear and anxiety is my first story and offer. But my other passion is running. So I want to, my next one's going to be on getting better at your sport, exercise, particularly running. Yeah.
So our listeners, the whoever they are who come and listen on a regular basis, know that we take our conversations all over the place. You just did how long a run did you do?
Well, 50 kilometers. And
that sounds insane.
It does, except the day after, when I was feeling quite smug with myself, there was a guy in Australia who, and I can't remember his name, that's terrible, but it was on the news, and he started on the 1st of September, and he's gone all the way from, I think, God knows where he's gone from. It's gone somewhere to somewhere, but he's in Australia, went 80 kilometers a day from the 1st of September till last Saturday. 80 kilometers a day, and I did 50 kilometers in one day. So it was like, it's sort of, there's a different I don't know, that's a different level. But I actually have a running I also think to be a coach you should have a coach as well, and I have a running coach, and in Mexico, and she was a client of mine back in 2017. I didn't know she was an elite athlete, and and at the time I was working online, but with NLP, and also I worked with the 3 principles. I don't know if you know the 3 principles.
I've heard of it, but I've not.
Oh, tell us.
Segue, yes, talk about that quickly and then go back.
So Michael Neal and Jamie Smart were both NLP trainers, very successful, and they both sort of moved their work away from NLP to the principles, which the principles are mind, body, and consciousness, and it comes from the work of Sydney Banks, who had an enlightenment experience in the 70s, and so I did this course. Again, it was a year-long course back in 2016 called Clarity, and it just was like the icing on the cake for me. Whereas NLP works on the structure of thought, and it's like how we think, and through our modalities. The principles are working on the nature of thought, so it's the facts that we think and not what we think that creates our moment-to-moment reality, and it's just amazing. So it's just pointing in a completely different direction.
Okay, so back to running.
Back to running. So I've forgotten where I was now.
Your coach is in Mexico.
Oh yes.
This I'm interested to hear. A running coach. I was thinking of a physical running coach, like a running buddy. Well, obviously that's not the case if she's in Mexico.
She gives me my program on a weekly basis. So she found me, and she'd had an injury and she'd lost her mojo, and so with her there was no hypnosis back then. It was more conversational, and I was utilizing my skill as with NLP and the principles. And after one session, she something clicked. We continued. She had a few sessions, didn't need any more, but we stayed friends. We became friends, and so now I actually recorded a webinar for beginner to elite runners, and she's on it. It's on YouTube. I could share it with you. Anyway,
please do. So I'll add it to the show.
I'll add it to the show notes.
Yeah,
so people can find it. Yeah. We have we'll be putting your website in there as well.
It's great. It's great for it. And I had somebody who listened to the recording and gave me a testimonial, because he he'd started running afterwards, and that was the recording, not the live one, because it's hypnosis and got NLP techniques. Anyway, so she's on there, but she's an elite athlete, and she runs 100 miles to be on the podium. You know, it's like I run to get to one end in one piece. You know, it's like to get to. But she's a lot younger than I am, and she's just amazing. So when I actually broke my arm, the first 50K event, she bought me a ticket as a gift at Christmas, because I must have said in a mad moment that it was on my bucket list to do an ultra run, because I had completed a few marathons. So she bought me a ticket. So, and I was doing this event, and I took a tumble on the trails, and I broke the head of humerus on my arm.
Ouch.
So I didn't finish the event. So, and then the following year, when I recovered, I entered again, but then I fractured my ankle on the trail, so I couldn't compete that year.
Is your body trying to tell you something?
Last year I got you get a bell. Where's my bell here? It's my bell. So you don't get a medal, you get a cowbell. So there we go. So I got my bell last year, and that was my first 50K. And then I did another 50K 6 months ago, and then I did the same one again this weekend. And
no broken bones this time?
No, I did have a tumble. I got a grazed knee, but I did.
Yeah, we can live with that. It's okay.
I think that is a fantastic achievement, Angela. I do. I can't even run to the bus stop. When
you're running, are you using hypnotic techniques on yourself, or are you aware of how the hypnotic nature of a repetitive action?
I'm very much aware of our mind and how powerful. I'll tell you another story.
All right.
Yeah, please do.
It's sort of running.
I think this Martin and I have been talking about, improving our titles for our episodes. I think this is going to be Running with Angela, but anyway.
Okay, so this is. I was at the doctor's today for just an annual checkup, and it was 10 years. It's exactly 10 years since I had breast cancer. So I said to her, do I get a prize? and then I said, well, actually, it's a prize anyway that I'm still here 10 years on. Right. So anyway, 10 years ago, I was training for my first marathon. And I didn't actually start running till I was 51, by the way. I've not always been a runner. So I was 53, training for my first marathon, and I got breast cancer, which was really inconvenient when I couldn't do the marathon. But at the time, I was an impatient runner, and I was trying to run faster. And I'm only 5 foot tall. I'm not very tall, and my little legs wouldn't go that fast. So I've got books I was reading on the art of running faster, and it wasn't happening. And then I got sick. I got breast cancer, and I couldn't run. I had surgery. I came out of this. A few funny things happened. So I came out of surgery with a need to watch the Star Wars movies. I don't know if you've watched Star Wars.
Yes, dear, but
watch the original one. That was about it.
My son loved Star Wars. My son is 40 now, and it had just been noise to me when I was a child. I wasn't into it, but I came out with this intent: I've got to watch Star Wars. So while I was recovering, I watched the Star Wars movies. As part of my treatment, I had 30 rounds of radiation, which I didn't like the sound of. So I decided, okay, I will have the radiation, but I'm going to use my imagination and pretend I'm getting zapped with Jedi power.
All right.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
Yeah.
And halfway through radiation, apparently one of the main side effects can be extreme fatigue. I entered a 10-kilometer run, which was a hilly event. And I got a personal best result, and it was the first time I came in under an hour on a 10K run, and that was all the Jedi power going around my system. So,
you just ooze positivity. Yeah. I just love the way you described cancer as damned inconvenient.
It was unexpected.
Yeah,
I got one of my friends to hypnotize me because I've got lots of offers for help, I was really, with the hypnotist community. And I said, yeah, I want to know why. And all I got, the only answer I got was that I needed a rest. Okay.
And went off for a 10K run. Yeah. But before we leave this particular topic, just remember, but Martin and I are also very keen for people to realize no woo-woo. It's not, nobody's suggesting that hypnosis can cure cancer. This is something that empowers you. Positive thinking improves everything, and there's definite evidence that it improves our immunological status, but there's no, oh, hypnotize me and it'll go away. No, it works with medicine. No, I know you didn't, but I want to make sure everybody understands.
Double sure for our listeners.
We're not suggesting that. Yes.
No,
it's one of many things that works together to make it better life for everyone.
It can help in so many ways. Like my brother died 6 years ago with a brain tumor, and I, was so, again, fortunate enough to be able to fly over to the UK because I didn't know he died 4 weeks from diagnosis, and I just went over to see him. I didn't know he was going to die, but I was there. And
very late diagnosis then, or was it just a very, very rapid form of cancer?
Aggressive. Yeah. Aggressive. It was the glioblastoma multiform. Yeah. It's aggressive. So it was very quick. I'd seen him earlier on in the year and he'd been fine. It just happened very quickly. But it was nice for me. It was like you were saying about me being positive. It was like my family said, "Oh, we're so glad you're coming over with all your positivity, Auntie Angie." And it was like, I couldn't save my brother, and it wasn't about that. It was just about being there and just being there. Yeah. Nothing I did or any. I did do hypnosis and massage and anything, but it wasn't about any of that. But it is nice to be able to do something to maybe. Who knows? But it's not about, we can't fix what's going to be is going to be, and it's right. But it can help us to quiet the noise in our mind and be able to access.
Right. It gives some people some, even if it's just getting a nice little vacation in your head for a few minutes, away from all of the bells and whistles of medicine. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So where do you, we've been talking for ages. Where do you see your next big move? What are you studying right now that you're planning on doing?
Okay. So it's really looking at the business stuff to to be in Thailand, and I'd like to do retreats, like in-person retreats in Thailand, because it's such a hub. Bangkok is such a hub for the world as well.
Okay. You and I definitely have to talk. Yeah. I mean, obviously we are now, but we'll talk off too. My next year's things.
I really would like, it'd be great, wouldn't it? It just right for us to get together and do something like that.
Yeah. So you have no idea what the timetable is because your dogs aren't telling you. That's okay. So you're just trying to build up a business that I assume you won't be sticking your backpack together with your laptop and just traipsing around Thailand, but you want to have a portable business and to be able to see the same clients no matter where you are. And they're fairly techie in Thailand, so you won't have too much trouble with Wi-Fi. Because that's the limiting feature, isn't it?
It's very techy. And I was actually in Thailand in August, and my son works for a 5-star hotel. And I actually did a hypnosis workshop while I was there for his bosses, which was really cool.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Building up some interest already. And my son was saying everybody, massive generalization, but those reasons very much into the wellness, the corporate world, all into wellness, and so it sounds good. It's a good opportunity. It's the right time.
Yeah, there's quite a large Buddhist population, isn't there, in Thailand?
Very much.
Yeah, so they're about inner self and that kind of thing. Yeah, so quite amenable, I would imagine, to the idea of hypnotherapy.
Well, they were when I was there. And the NLP, I sort of framed it more. I mean, initially it was just a bit of a good idea. Let's do something. But then it got a bit serious. It was like I had a conference call with his bosses, and I thought, well, I better sound professional now. So I sort of put my NLP head on as well. But I utilized an NLP technique and brought in the hypnosis because I just love hypnosis.
Mhm.
Yeah, they love
We're going to have an Angela Farlam episode too, because we're out of time on this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Angela, have you got any final thoughts for our listeners and viewers?
final thoughts. Just final
Try
thoughts.
it. You'll like it.
Yeah, right, definitely. It's try it, you'll like it. I love that.
Well, I've got one. I saw a testimonial on your website, and it said, Angie's one of those people that the world needs more of, and I absolutely agree.
That's lovely.
So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Oh,
Lovely to
thank
meet
you.
you finally. I hear your name all the time, but we're in such weird time zones. It's hard to connect.
Yeah. And if
It's been
anybody's
very nice.
listening, ways of contacting Ange will be in the show notes as well.
Yeah.
So go and pay her website a visit.
Thank you so
And
much.
I'm back in the UK next July, so let's meet up.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's lovely.
Bye.
Thanks, Angela. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thanks so much.
We hope you've enjoyed listening. Please remember, this podcast is designed to give you an insight into therapeutic hypnosis and is for educational purposes only. So remember, consult with your own healthcare professional if you think something you've heard may apply to you or a loved one.
If you found this episode useful, you can apply for free continuing professional development or CME credits using the link provided in the show notes. Feel free to contact either of us through the links in the show notes. Join us again next week.